Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Through the Fire and the SBN Small Business Network podcast. I am your host, Ryan Wickline. And today, wow, I got something pretty funny to talk with you guys about. So recently, I posted this Napoleon Hill quote on my social media pages. And it goes, "For the man who does more than he is paid will soon be paid more than he does." And I could not believe the backlash of things I got from people for just posting this one thing. I was called stupid, naive, a dreamer. What was some of the other ones? Told me that I am pretty much corrupt like the rest of everybody and that's not the way things work anymore. And this isn't about attacking anybody or anything, because personally, I felt kind of sorry for people for one reason. They are living an uninspired life. And I've been there before. I've been in those positions of feeling uninspired and like stuck at where I was at. And I didn't realize a couple things. First thing is, I do believe that, because I do believe you should have a high standard. You've heard me talk about standards before, that you should be doing the best you can at anything you do. Whether you're getting paid more or not to do it, and it's not in your job requirement, guess what? You're going to go above and beyond what you're being asked to do. Because guess what? That leads to more opportunities. I could tell you countless stories of things I've done that I wasn't asked to do, but it separates you from the people beside you when you're willing to outwork the person beside you, when they have more experience than you, or they have more of a name or anything else. If you're going to outwork that person next to you, when they think they have the inside track and you go in there and you just put your head down, nose down, and do more than the guy next to you, guess what? You're more likely going to get promoted and you're going to get more opportunities. Maybe not in that position where you're at, but at some other place, you're going to get another opportunity. And I know that's how it is. Like even today in like my coaching business, the athletes I work with, I go above and beyond on days that I don't have to. Like, say they're like a couple of them just went and competed. Guess what? When they're in competitions, or a parent gives me like an emergency phone call, that, hey, can you help get my kid dialed back in? Guess what? You think I say, oh, well, you better pay me before I have to go do this? This isn't in my description. No, I don't charge them for that, because I look at that as, hey, I'm trying to help these guys achieve their dreams. And it's not about the money. It's about adding legacy to these people. It's about going above and beyond and helping people become the very best version of themselves. Like, so I was just kind of like, wow. I mean, I can't believe people don't see that. Like, hey, you should have a number one standard. Like, the quality of work you put out should be the best that you can do. Like, and I don't see like why society has gotten like that, where everybody thinks this entitledness, where, hey, I should be paid for doing the bare minimum. It's like, hey, that's the same attitude that says, hey, I go get a fast food at McDonald's, my first job in high school, I should be making $25 an hour. It's like, get out of here. Like, get out of here. Go develop some skills. And that's where the attitude that we have here in society is. And it's crazy to me. Like, no judgment here, because I've been there. But guess what? You can change all that. If that's you, I'm here to tell you, guess what? You can change all that by two simple things. First is realizing the choices you have made have led you to where you're at. It's nobody else's fault but your own. You've made horrible choices in certain areas of your life that have led you to where you're at. Guess what? That leads to the second thing. Taking extreme ownership or accountability 100% accountability for where you're at by saying, I am my biggest problem. But guess what? I'm also my biggest solution. I don't like where I'm at. So guess what? I'm going to change that. Does that mean it's going to happen overnight? No. It means, hey, if I start making these better choices and keep making adjustments by taking accountability for my actions and only myself, then guess what? Things are going to get better. And guess what the other thing is? If you are uninspired and stuck in a job you hate or trapped to where you're at, feel trapped and not liking the results you're getting in a certain area, guess what? Make the changes and make the adjustments because you don't have to stay there. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to stay where you're at. Trust me on that. Life is way too short. I mean, what do we get here? Maybe 60 to 70 some years. Like that is a short amount of time. Why would you want to do something that makes you feel uninspired, where you feel like you're being neglected or treated poorly on pay? If you feel like they're not paying you enough, guess what? And you're not getting paid for what you're worth, guess what? Go get another job. Because guess why? They don't own you. You're allowed to change jobs. You're allowed to have set up boundaries and say, hey, if I do this amount of work, I expect this. And if you're not going to pay me, guess what? I'm going to go somewhere else where they are going to pay me and I'm going to be respected. I mean, I don't know where people have got away from that of saying, hey, this is what I deserve. And I'm not going to be treated with less or paid less than I deserve. So guess what? I'm going to go out here and make this happen. I'm allowed to go start my own business or go do something that lights my soul on fire. That's going to make me happy. Guess what? I might have to make sacrifices at first and struggle, but guess what? If I go through that initial amount of struggling for 2-3 years, who knows how long it's going to take, guess what? I might be able to set myself up and live a happy life in the future. But it's all about sacrificing for right now for what can be. And that's all in your hands. It's all about the choices you make. Like, and I was sending messages back to some of the people and like, hey man, tell me what's going on. I would love to hear why you're saying this and why you don't believe things are like this anymore. And a lot of it came down to, surprise, surprise, their poor choices that they made of saying, well, I have this to pay for, this, so I have to stay here at this job. No, the choices you made of, hey, I'm getting stuck and trapping myself with these payments, or I have to go buy these things that don't mean nothing, that I don't need. They're not even a necessity for me to live off of, but I got to have it, or I got to go here, or I got to go to the bars and drink, or I got to do all this. Well, guess what? Those things you do not need. If you really wanted to get a new job, that might pay you just a little less to begin with, but it might have, more upside, and you might even be happier. Guess what? I would go take off and run and do that, because guess what? All you got to do is sacrifice right now for the future. And that's what most people aren't willing to do. They'll put themselves in these positions where they get trapped. And I've been there before, and I know what it's like. Take it from a guy who used to be addicted to drugs, who will tell you, until you look at your own choices and take accountability for every action and every mistake in your life, you're going to stay stuck where you're at. And I had to do this so much for me to get clean. This was the number one step in anything before I took the necessary steps to get clean and sober. It was, okay, I had to re-examine my life and look at where I was at and say, hey, if I don't change this, I'm either going to be dead or in prison. But guess what? It's most likely I'm going to be dead. So start looking at diving into parts of my life that were pretty dark and saying, hey, this is why I failed here. This is why I failed here. These were the choices I made. Well, these choices led to this. So guess what? Next time I'm faced with these choices, I better choose the next best thing because these choices aren't working. So I know that this can be hard, but it's also the necessary step to getting to where you want to be. And the last thing I'm going to tell you here, I'm going to share a nice little story here. So last year, I decided to walk away from coaching the one-on-one and everything. I walked away from my job. I had recently moved back from Tennessee. Things didn't go the way I wanted to there in Tennessee. Kind of failed a little bit. It wasn't really a failure, but to me it kind of was because I didn't accomplish what I wanted to. And I had made a mistake there in Tennessee. I was offered a position working for a marketing firm, and I should have kept it, but I didn't because it was going to interfere with wrestling. And I talk with some people, and they're like, "Man, you're down here to coach wrestling and all this, and blah blah blah." Long story short, I folded, and I went into that wrestling position. You know, and people don't understand the reason why I really left was they stopped paying me the money that they promised me. So I made that choice and said, "You're not going to pay me what I'm worth. I don't see a buy. You're not going to make money off my expertise." There you go. Right there. Made the choice. See ya. Same thing I'm talking about now. But that is why I left. So when I came back, I had no plans. I was going to help a couple kids here and there on the side, just help them. One of the head coaches reached out to me, asked me to come back, and I wasn't ready to because I had to go take a job doing construction that I did not want to do, but I needed the money to go get a place to live. I needed to do everything so I could have a place to live, get everything back on my feet, get money so I get back on my feet and get it ready to make another plan out. Well, the coach was talking to me, asked me to come back. I said, "No, I'm not ready. I'll just do everything on the side." And he broke out to, "Ryan, you know that the kids really appreciate it when you're around. And they loved it. They would love to have you. We'd love to have you there to come help the kids." And they knew that was my weak spot of saying, "Hey, these kids need you." Guess what? So I went back. Fast forward, I'm working all these long hours, working over an hour and a half away almost. So I'm driving 3 hours, working my 8 hours, and then going straight to practices. So I'm working like 12, 13, 14-hour days. No free time to myself. So it came to a point I was done. I was done. And the reason I was done, and I had this epiphany, I was sitting here climbing 40 some feet up in the air, raising these cables on this construction site, the scaffolding, raising cables 40 some feet up in the air. And all I hear is all these young kids talk about how good they are and how hard they work and they want my job. They think they can do what I did. And granted, I hadn't even been doing this stuff for at least 5 years. And I just came back. And I'm sitting here listening to these kids talk. And then I happen to look over at them and I see they're standing there, pretty much sitting down, leaning, telling me how good they are as I'm doing their job for them. And that gave me that epiphany, like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here killing yourself for people that don't appreciate you? You're double of most of these kids' ages, and you're still doing more work than them. That's a problem with me because they're getting paid the same amount of money as me with less experience, but I'm supposed to carry them. That's not how things work with me. So I made that choice later on that, not right away, but eventually I made that choice like, I can't do this anymore. I refuse to do this. I am unhappy. My life does not revolve around this job. I want to do so much more. I am capable of so much more. And I open myself up. So if I can do this, so can any of you. I am not special in any way. And nobody else who has succeeded is that special in any way, except they had the grit, determination, resilience, and knew their worth. And they refused to settle for less than what they were what they deserved. So if you're in that position right now and you need help, reach out to me. Reach out to somebody else because we'll go talk. And I want to help you. I would make it a mission to help you to get to where you need to be. Because it breaks my heart to watch so many people live uninspired lives. This is why I'm doing half of what I do, is to inspire people to do better. Because I'm tired of watching everybody this born to be average crap that I see all the time. And I'm sorry for my language a little bit. I know I'm not really cussing, but I'm sorry if they kind of offend somebody. This born to be average crap that I see going around here in this society. It is pathetic. You should have a standard of what is expected of you. And if you can't live up to that standard, most bosses should say, guess what? You're fired. See ya. That's the thing. The bosses of these companies anymore don't have the balls to do it. And that's the problem. And if things would go back to the way they were when I first started, when I was growing up, things would change quite a bit because, and parents, some of you guys are to blame. And I'm sorry if you feel attacked, but these kids need a little bit more work ethic and discipline. Sorry to say it, but it's the case. Raise kids to have a standard, a higher standard, because guess what? They're the future of society in this country. And if you want this country to be better than it is now, that's where it starts, helping them make better habits. So I'm sorry about my rant, but if anybody needs any help and feels like you're stuck, get a hold of me, because guess what? I will make it my mission to come help you get unstuck and stop living an uninspired life, because I can't stand to watch this anymore. It breaks my heart. And on that note, the only way to get what you want is go through the fire.